Hello, my name is Alex Colbert, and today I'm going to tell you about why you should never play the lottery. Now, according to Reinhart.org, approximately 60 to 80% of all Americans have played the lottery at some point in their life. And on top of this, 50% of current adults have played the lottery in the past year. So, going along with these statistics, when I turned 18, I immediately drove to my nearest gas station. And in that time period, I picked up a couple of scratch-offs and went home, hoping to win the big bucks. I scratched off the scratch-offs and I earned 47 cents. I won. If winning is 47 cents from $4 worth of scratch-offs, obvious problem. So after being on top of the world for a couple seconds, I soon thought about, well, why do people go back and spend on the lottery if they really don't win that often? Well, it's mainly because of three factors. They have aggressive marketing, amazing damage control, and societal pressures. So let's look at a common example in all of our lives. The lottery has just passed $1 billion. Now this happens frequently. Past $1 billion, and some people go, well, are you going to play? Are you going to play what if you win? What if you win? You hear it on the radio, you read it online, you hear it from your friends, family. They go, what if? And that what if is a genius marketing strategy that they use. Pretty good. What they fail to say is that 1/3 of all that money is going to go straight back to them, and the rates of winning are pretty terrible. And you see, a lot of people play that what if because it promises a new life for them. And it especially targets impoverished people. If you're making only $10,000 a year, you're probably going to be spending, on average, $600 that money. So that's about 5%, why they call it a poor man's tax. On top of this, 20% of all players make up 71% of ticket sales. So it's a small group that is spending a lot of their money on lottery tickets. So let's look at a couple of the advertisements and why it's so successful in the first place. Behind me I have a couple of advertisements, and you can see they all have a common theme. Spend a little money and get a lot of return. It's talking about changing your life very quickly, and it resonates with a lot of America. According to Smart Assets, 40% of people are currently not happy with their jobs and will quit if they win the lottery. So that resonates with them. And on top of that, most of the advertisement is in the heads of consumers with the what if, and that costs zero money. The occasional billboard is pocket change compared to them. And I feel that what if that plagues the brains of millions of people would kind of lower substantially if people knew about what the odds were. So you're probably wondering, well, what are the odds of winning the lottery? It's approximately 1 in 292 million. Now most people realize that's a pretty big number, you know, millions, hundreds of millions, big numbers. But they kind of fail to visualize what that is. So behind me, I have a picture that kind of compares it to a couple other things. And behind me, you'll also see the lightning strike story. You've probably heard about it. You're more common to get struck by lightning than win the lottery. Now the lottery also at the time, they go, that's wrong. And it is true, kind of. 1,300 people do win the lottery every year with a total of $1 million or above, which sounds good. And 67 people do die yearly to lightning strikes. What they leave out is that approximately 240,000 people get struck by lightning every year but don't die. And 240,000 is a much bigger number than the 1,300. And that statistic is pushed by the Lottery Association in a way to be deceitful and help their marketing campaign. So why do most people think, what if? On something that's so low to happen, where we think, well, it probably couldn't happen to me for other things that are more likely to happen, like getting bit by a shark, or getting cancer, or getting into a fatal accident. Well, it helps that death doesn't have an advertising campaign, but it also helps that a lot of people just want an easy way to get rich, and that makes sense. So let's think about it. What if you do win the lottery? What happens? You know, what happens if you do win the lottery? Well, let's say you hit the jackpot. You won the $1 billion lottery with 3 of your friends. Awesome. First problem. In 3 to 5 years, one of you is going bankrupt. It's just going to happen. Those are the stats, 30%. On top of this, if you're in one of the 40 plus states, heavy majority, that makes you list your name and location of all winners, you're about to get a lot of unwanted attention that you really do not want in this time period. And this is also why a lot of people spend large fees getting attorneys and legal teams to protect them. But sometimes that isn't the case. Behind me, you can see 2 people. So the first of the gentlemen is Gregory Birch Jr. Now, Gregory won the lottery, and a couple weeks later, his home was broken into, and then he was murdered even after giving up the money. And Niraj Khan has a similar story. He won the lottery, $1 million, which is kind of a small amount compared to what other people win. But a week later, he still died of cyanide poisoning. But let's forget all of that, and let's assume you're the lucky one. How much do you actually get? Well, immediately 25% is going straight away from you. You're not even seeing it. Then, on top of that, when tax season comes around, you're getting taxed about 40% on your earnings, assuming you're now in the highest tax bracket, which you would be if you win $1 billion. So let's look at kind of what the government does, or the Lottery Association does, with that money that you're giving back. Where does it go? Well, the biggest spender, of course, is back to the winners. You can't fund millions and millions of dollars that are coming from somewhere. That makes sense. A surprising statistic is the 29% for education. That actually seems pretty good, right? Well, I'm not totally wasting my money if 30 cents to the dollar is going to my local school and the education system. What's wrong with that? Well, the only reason it's there is because they're legally required to. In fact, if it wasn't legal, may not be there. And it also serves as a boost to them for publicity. Well, I'm not wasting my money. 30 cents is going to the education system, so it's all good, right? Well, I mean, not really. If you think about it, it's going to the local education system, yeah, but it's not really building anything, building infrastructure. All it's really doing is, if it's a poorly run system with less money, it's going to be a poorly run system with a little more money now. But what can you do as a buyer? Let's say you're done with the lottery. What can you do with your money? Well, let's look at it. You walk into a gas station, because I assume that's where you are if you're buying lottery tickets. Not even buying wirelessly, but that's beside the point. You walk into the gas station. What are you going to buy? Well, I recommend 2 bags of your favorite chips or junk food. It'll probably be the same amount, and instead of having a 1 in 293 million chance of eating the chips, you will have a 100% chance of eating the chips, which you will enjoy. Or if you want to not waste your money on junk food, which is a fair bet, you can just give it to your local school system. I'm sure they would appreciate getting 100 cents to the dollar compared to 30 cents to the dollar. Hopefully, over the course of several minutes, I've convinced you that you should never play the lottery again, no matter how strong that what-if feeling is. Thank you.